Hey guys, it's Tough Cheetah, and I am on the autistic spectrum. Now before you say anything, there is a stigma about autism that I would like to put to rest. Yes, I do not look autistic, but that's because that's not a thing. There's no such thing as looking autistic so much as there's a more typical way autistic people act, that you'd assume that that is someone who is autistic, unlike me, who is a functioning, verbal, autistic person. But the majority of us on the spectrum have the tendency to fake it till you make it. And trust me, I'm apparently really good at it, because I managed to hide this disorder from myself for like 15 years. I grew up being told by doctors that it was just really bad anxiety and there was nothing else wrong with me. Things like this, especially those who are more high functioning, they tend to go unnoticed. This is why a lot of people who have OCD, ADD/ADHD, and autism tend to self-diagnose first and then seek professional help, because nobody will know us better than us. My therapist described my type of autism as having high energy on the outside. It's an explosion basically of personality, but on the inside, a bunch of crossed wires that my own body don't even know where they connect to. I'm gonna quickly tell you my story growing up and how everything to me sort of makes sense, and hoping that I'll be able to help you guys get the big picture. You're a gifted kid. You grew up being told you're mature for your age. You get really good grades, and people are proud of you, and that expectation travels throughout your entire life. You sort of become the babysitter of the classroom, and you're expected to never do anything wrong. Then you fall out. Your grades drop, and you stop being able to focus to the point where you can't even do the things that you love anymore. You grow colder by the day, and if you aren't immediately good at something, you drop it. There were so many disappointing shakes of head of the adults in your life because they expected better from you. You were a child prodigy, at least that is what your teachers would make you feel like you were. Eventually you become disappointed in yourself because you started to have these expectations because you thought you were special. I am what you may call an amalgamation because I have a great combination of PTSD and autism. So needless to say, this has been a journey. I both get angry and frustrated easily, but I also have a very high tolerance for other people. That's not a bragging right either. I have been in so many horrible relationships because I can't tell what's good or bad until I'm out of the relationship and realize, oh yeah, that probably wasn't a good relationship. So even though statistically I am less likely to bully or judge others based on what they do or don't do, I'm also often ignorant of right or wrong, and not in a blissful sort of way. I'm just kind of a mess. There's a few tics I found out about that I've had a lot of my life that I just never noticed was autism until now, so I'll just do that in a quick bullet point. Now, I will be speaking for everyone who is autistic, because I am putting this out there with the intention of teaching people what this is. When it comes to my specific areas that I struggle with, I'm talking for myself alone. Uncontrollable arm movements, obsessive tapping, and having my own specific beat that I made up. Sometimes my neck twitches. Now that's a tic that comes and goes, and that one's really rough that I'm not even gonna demonstrate what that looks like. Blinking obsessively for no reason. This one's great. Now I have a reason for not being a good dancer. Poor balance and mixing up my left and right. This one's weird because I am very much so left-handed. I can't do anything with my right hand. See, I just tried to demonstrate with my right hand and I picked up my left. But recently I had an experience where I had to sign something, and I signed it right-handed, not even thinking about it because I forgot for a second that I'm left-handed. Poor eye contact. Now this is a big one because a lot of people see it as rude. I don't make direct eye contact with you. It's because I'm uncomfortable with myself, not with you. And please don't take it personally. I'm not trying to be rude. I very much so am paying attention to what you say. I just can't look directly in your eye. And then generally having a bad short-term memory, put my phone down, 5 seconds later, I don't know where my phone is. Some have trouble with such things as metaphors, idioms, and irony. Well, personally, I have trouble both conveying and interpreting sarcasm and generally reading facial expressions. The rest of it is totally fine for me. But also, I grew up writing a lot, so it's possible that I just sort of taught myself how to do this, and I just didn't end up having this issue as an adult. Hyperfixation and constantly talking about the same thing. Basically, you can tell when I'm writing a new story because there's some some specific topic that I won't stop talking about to the point where you're probably going to be annoyed with me. It's not my intention to be annoying, but when I get really excited about something, it's really hard to control myself from talking. It will cause me physical pain and discomfort to not talk when I have something to say. So sometimes I interrupt you or talk for too long, and that's not ever my intention. This one is huge and honestly top of the list for me. Noise sensitivity. Everything's either too loud or too quiet. Finding it in between is impossible. If that's the case, why do I listen to music super loudly? Simple. I can control it. If there's a noise, a really, really quiet noise that I can't control, I will go insane. If music is too loud and I'm not the one who put it on, I will also go insane. But I also have a hard time controlling my own volume. I am constantly told I'm being too loud, especially in the middle of the night. Half the time, I can't tell when I'm being too loud or too quiet. Going mute. As you can tell, I am a verbal autistic person. Well, about 1/3 of us are nonverbal, but sometimes I physically cannot speak. When I get really overwhelmed, I cannot make myself talk. At that point, the only thing I can do is nod or shake my head. But more times than not, I am extremely aware of my surroundings. So if this happens, I can hear you. I can hear everything you say. I just can't talk to you. It's like there's a wall there that I can't quite climb over. And it really sucks, but hey, here's a piece of advice for my friends out there. You can ask me yes or no questions and I will be able to respond to you that way. Routines and lack of spontaneity. For as long as I can remember, I have needed to be told exactly what I'm going to be doing the next day, or I will be stressed out about it all night. And while I do tend to work better under pressure, being told last minute that, hey, I'm about to hang out with a bunch of people has always been a struggle for me. I get overwhelmed pretty easily, so hey, if you want to hang out, don't text me an hour before, or I might have a panic attack. Although I might show up fine, so the behind the scenes is honestly the hard part here, because usually this sort of thing doesn't show up for other people. But for me, I like schedules, I like routines, I like deadlines, because then I know when I have to do something. So don't tell me 2 seconds before I gotta do something, or it ain't gonna end well. I've talked about all the weird, bad stuff about autism, but there are some ups to this. My long-term memory, way better than my short-term memory. I can tell you something that you did 3 years, 10 months, 24 days ago, so don't try me. I never forget, unless it was 5 seconds ago, because I will forget. I am hopelessly honest, so if I compliment you, know that I am being 100% genuine, because being not honest causes me a lot of discomfort, and I will definitely have an explosion later where I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie to you, because I cannot hold it in. Hyperfocusing is awesome. You can't do it on purpose, which is really annoying, but it's basically where you just out of nowhere, boom, focus. You can finish something you've been working on in like half an hour that would normally take you like 3 hours. It's awesome. Alternate problem solving. I definitely helped my classmates with this because I would come up with weird ways to solve math problems that were not conventional. Creativity. And now part of this is because I have a very creative family, and that ended up getting passed down to me, but people with autism tend to think of things in a different light. For me, I write. That's how I taught myself how to do things, and writing helps me with other hard parts of this disorder. The last and biggest upside of having an autistic friend is loyalty. Now, this could totally come back and bite me in the butt in the end, but when I like you, really like you, I will stay with you until the day I die. Never doubt that I love you if I tell you I do, because there's nothing I will mean more than I love you. I will be your faithful companion for as long as you'll have me, and that is the way I've always lived my life. And to wrap this up, now that I've talked about the good, the bad, the ugly, no human is going to know you better than you know yourself. So if you think something's wrong with you, speak up. Anybody who tells you you're just imagining things, or that you're perfectly fine, without a reasonable explanation paired with it, they aren't worth your time to give it to you straight. Find people who accept you for who you are. Find people who are patient and kind and treat you as you are, not more or less. Embrace it. Be aware and try and learn something about yourself, because being autistic, finding out about me having autism for most of my life and just not realizing it, it was a lot. I went to bed and took a nap for like 3 hours after my therapist told me about this. This video is meant to help my friends and anyone out there who wants to learn what autism is and what you should expect from people who are autistic. For me, I only ask for you guys to be patient. Adulting is hard, and I don't know what I'm doing. Autism is a developmental disorder, not a mental disorder. It affects my brain in a certain way, and on paper, I'm 19, but in my head, it's like I'm still a teenager. I haven't caught up yet. I know that may sound strange, and trust me, it's strange to me too, but I hope you learned something from this. And I hope to the people who are just now finding out about this in my personal life, I hope this doesn't change anything. Basically, all I want is to be heard, and I hope that can be respected. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. This was a real heart-to-heart video that I spent a while on. A lot of research went into this, and I have been Tough Cheetah, who is autistic. Happy Autism Awareness Day. Bye! Maybe you can empathize with it. Empathize. I can't say that word.